I was 7 years old when I was sent away from home, banished, taken away. In my body, it felt like more of an abduction. My senses and emotions hijacked. I was grabbed from behind and wrapped in a rough and dirty blanket. The dogs went mad, barking and growling. They tried to intervene to rescue me, but to no avail. I was manhandled into the boot of a car. The door slammed shut and I was plunged into darkness. The ignition fired up and the car sped off to what turned out to be my new life. Well, it wasn't quite like that. Not literally. For starters, it was not me put in the boot, but my trunk, with all my clothes in it, my pants, white shirts, grey socks, blazer, cap, a kilt, handkerchiefs to not crying, and shorts, not long trousers. I didn't need to be gagged or trussed up in rope and blankets. I didn't scream, pound my fists, object, or even cry. It was far more English than that. Buttoned up, emotions shut away, desperate, polite, and strangely awkward. I went, if not willingly, then certainly meekly. I didn't put up a fight or even argue against it, even though every tiny bone in my body did not want to go. I was conditioned from before I can remember. This was what was going to happen. This was normal for a boy like me, and so could not be questioned. It had happened to my father, his brothers, and my father's father, and so on. Generation after generation of normalized loss, grief and trauma, all in the name of tradition and privilege. My hands were tied from before I was born. My so-called abductors were the two people in my world I loved and trusted the most. Apart from the dogs, of course, who witnessed my abduction with a sad and loyal weariness. Norton Grim was conceived on that first night in captivity, and he was born sometime later on a scrap of paper, ragged and torn. The first night in the dormitory, I remember the muffled sobs of the other children, equally bewildered by their predicament, mixed with the creaking and groaning of the tatty, worn and spooky building, which I realised with a shudder was now my new home. He accompanied me in those dark days when I was alone in that dangerous and hostile environment. As well as take the knocks alongside me, he held me in his disconcerting gaze. and soothed me with his rough and scarred hands. He had my back. Since then, I have done hundreds of scratchy drawings of him and made up numerous twisted and warped tales of him in shoddy homemade books. In his early days, he was a masochist, before I knew what one was, and an extreme self-harmer, again before I understood what self-harm was. He would cut himself, skewer himself, saw himself, set himself on fire like some deranged religious ascetic. It was like he was expressing something that I couldn't. I think now he did it so that I didn't need to. At the time though, I didn't really understand why he was doing this, and I distanced myself from him and this disturbing behaviour, and I put him away kicking and screaming in a drawer to gather dust. Eventually, however, after much reflection, I realised that Norton Grim was for a long time the only one to recognise that these early experiences were traumatic, rather than character building. He did not dismiss this as the complaints of the privileged, as I did. Moreover, he helped me process these experiences through art making and storytelling. It has taken me a long time to appreciate his role in my survival and what sanity I do have. So now I've dug him out of the various hiding places and shadows in which he has been exiled. I have dusted him off, and he now takes centre stage, where he continues to act as an unlikely superhero, still unravelling the binds of my ongoing captivity.